With the second half of Tour de Endurance underway here, the last event has given a glimmer of hope to the chasing teams in the championship. The gap has come down to just 28 points here, up to the top grayscales, and here the distance drag will be our test for our teams today here. Perfect conditions in Shrouded Lane. Team Sunrise, one of those chasing teams in the championship, well, they've got multiple gold medals in this event in the past. The name of the game is simple. All you want to do is get as far as possible across the plate there, and you can make contact. You can get halted by marbles in front, so there's a bit of advantage for coming out first.
Yes, but also if you stay in the funnels longer and take your time coming down, you allow yourself more time to calculate your launch, because that launch across the blue plate is very important, and you can fall off this ramp if you're not careful. We've seen the Condiment Kings in the past. They fell off in the funnels actually and got a 0 in the semi-finals, knocking them down to 8th place. So it's not easy going down it quickly. But as you can see, the advantage there for the Polar Bears and the Bone Rattlers who came down first. They created a barrier, and the Cherry Blossoms and the Super Cat's Eyes could not get themselves around, and they would get bottom 2 here. And Avalanche gets the win in the pre-show. Just up towards that 130 mark is about where we should expect most of these launches to be, between 120 and 130. But the Polar Bears coming down second there. They just nudged around the Bone Rattlers and actually got pushed into the lead by the Cherry Blossoms, because Bone Rattlers there are in front, and that is an advantage of coming down early, but you can come down later and still put up a great show, a great launch in the distance drag. And there you see the heats lined up and ready to go. And again, Team Sunrise and the Grayscales having seated together in Heat 4. That is unprecedented almost. 2 events in a row, the top 2 seated together. But Heat 1, Rosemary's, Honeycombs, the winners of the last event, Citrus Sprinters, and Lagoon Platoon. And off we go.
Lagoon Platoon look to come down first, although they'll be joined by the Citrus Sprinters there. You really want to keep as center as possible. If you go off to the side, that's wasted energy, but the Lagoon Platoon, great center line here. They went very far. Honeycombs, the winners of the last event, will be parked just behind them, but they're very close. They can be in a position to get bumped here. They do get bumped, but the Honeycombs don't get propelled forward. Meanwhile, Citrus Sprinters are in first, and the Rosemary's at the back will get parked right behind the Honeycombs. All of the marbles, like in the pre-show, getting in very similar position here, but Citrus Sprinters and the Lagoon Platoon will just barely come away with the advancement positions here.
That was very close indeed. Lagoon Platoon and it looked like the Honeycombs would have had it done. They got right next to Lagoon Platoon. There was a wall there. It would have pushed either of them forward, but the Sprinters just managed to slip just around the outside of the Honeycombs and get themselves up into almost first place, and the Honeycombs just did not have the gas to get around any of them and park themselves behind the Honeycombs. So Sprinters and Platoon on to the semi-finals so far. Crazy Chickens, Team Mayhem, the Popsicles, and the Croissant Crew. Popsicles and Croissant Crew rounded out the podium in the last event. Can they keep that? And Popsicles, in fact, that was their second silver in a row. Now in third place in the table. Can they keep that momentum going and try and track down the leaders? Croissant Crew didn't look like a bad push, but it seems like we've seen further in the heats, Team Mayhem go way too wide and will not even come close to the semi-finals. Here come the Crazy Chickens. They push behind Team Mayhem, and suddenly they've got a chance. Popsicles blast past everyone, and it will be the Popsicles with the anchor to move on with the Croissant Crew, the 2 medalists of the last event, keeping the momentum going. They're under the semi-finals.
The deviation really hurt Team Mayhem and the Crazy Chickens there. They definitely went more to the far side than they would have liked. You can see here, right off the ramp, Team Mayhem's already deviating, and then here for the Crazy Chickens just followed that line and bumped them. That pretty much ended the Crazy Chickens' chances of any chance of advancing, and the Popsicles clean throughout. A bump for the Croissant Crew, but both are going to move on. And now in the third heat, Marauders, Party Crashers, Crystal Pistols, and Blue Brigade, 2 former champions in this one, although one of them in the Party Crashers really hoping for a good result here. One of 2 teams without a single medal this season yet. All of them in the second funnel here. It's going to be close. Party Crashers come out first. They get a bump from the Blue Brigade, and they both get launched to either side. Marauders will get by for second place, and they will hold it. Crystal Pistols park it right behind them, and neither can advance.
Oh, that was close. Party Crashers came down first. They just got bumped several times by the Blue Brigade and the Marauders and the Crystal Pistols. There was a nice line there. They had the space to try and sneak through into the semis, but they just couldn't get by. Look at that bump by the Blue Brigade. That really did seal the deal for the Party Crashers. Pushed them just far enough ahead, and the Marauders parked behind them too. Bit lucky, but they will advance to the semi-finals with some confidence. And the Crystal Pistols, they had the speed. They could have wrapped around, but they just couldn't pull it off. And now we move on to Heat 4, a very important heat. All eyes on this one. Cheese Balls, Team Sunrise, Grayscales, and the White Knights. There's 2 in the middle. They're going to try and do everything they can. The Grayscales have a 28-point lead, pretty comfortable, but they got 15th in the previous event and 12th in the event previously. They're starting to slip a little bit after the break. It's a good opening push. Cheese Balls bump up behind them and give them a little bit more of oomph. Here comes Team Sunrise. They blow past them both. What can the White Knights do in the final lenker of this heat? They push past everybody, and Team Sunrise will advance, and the Grayscales will not. White Knights winning it with one of the best runs of the day so far. Grey cannot do enough, and again the Grayscales crash out in the heats, and we'll get a bottom half result. Big chance now for everyone who has advanced here.
2 marbles in Team Funnel Descent crashing out for the Grayscales can do nothing in the obstacle race, and they will get yet another bottom half result in a row here in the distance drag. Fantastic by both Team Sunrise and the White Knights. They knew what needed to be done, wrapping right around the Grayscales there, and both are going on to the semi-finals. Grayscales, it's not a terrible result. It's 5 points for them. The Honeycombs will get the best of the rest with their captain. But on we go here to the semi-finals. Yet another advancement-based event where the advancers have that opportunity to close that gap. Party Crashers here, along with Team Sunrise, the Popsicles, and the Citrus Sprinters and 3 marbles are already in that second funnel. They're really eager to get down here. Who's going to come down first? It is the Popsicles. Could they be on for another medal in a row here? But Team Sunrise goes way off to the near side. Unorthodox curl, but it works out for them. Party Crashers clean down the center. They go into the lead, and Citrus Sprinters will get by into 3rd place. That's not going to be enough for them to move on. Team Sunrise and the Party Crashers, despite finishing in completely different parts of the track here, they're both going on to the final, and the Party Crashers have an opportunity for their first medal of the season here.
What a glorious stone throw by the Party Crashers, straight and true from their lane all the way up towards 140 almost. Sunrise deviated so far, but had so much raw speed, they pushed themselves into the final. This is a big chance now for the team running in 2nd place. Popsicles in 3rd place unfortunately crashed out here, but Sunrise, all eyes will be on them in the final to perhaps get another gold medal in the Distance Drag A-League. It'll be 3 for 3 for Daybreak if they can pull that off. But now White Knights looking at the Platoon. Mayhem and Croissant Crew, who come down first in semi-final B, and they do all right there. Here comes the Platoon, who actually push right past the Croissant Crew, as do the Marauders. Here comes the White Knights. They push up behind the Marauders, and it's not going to be enough. The Goon Platoon and the Marauders, who I believe I mistook for Team Mayhem earlier, will advance. That's my apologies. Wormtail and Pond are onto the final with Raider and Daybreak, with 2 very good, solid above 130 runs.
The Lagoon Platoon really emulated what the Party Crashers did in the previous semi-final here, staying true to the center. That's where you can really maximize your distance here. And the Marauders going up first before the White Knights. We've seen many collisions here, many marbles ending in the same place. That's not good for the marbles going later, as the White Knights are going to be knocked out here. They'll get 5th place, best of the rest for them, but they would have hoped to get in that final. Citrus Sprinters, Popsicles, and the Croissant Crew running out 6th through 8th. But there you can see our finalists: Lagoon Platoon, Marauders, Party Crashers, and Team Sunrise here. Some of these teams chasing high up there in the standings, some others fairly down, still hoping for their first medal of the season. Off they go here for the final. Team Sunrise will be joined by, I think that's Lagoon Platoon. Who's going to come down first here in the final?
It's going to be close. All 3 of them, all 4 of them now fighting to go down first. Lagoon Platoon launch out onto the plane. It looks like a solid run in between that white line. The Party Crashers come down next, and they deviate far to the right. They might miss the podium altogether. Sunrise come down the middle. They take the lead and the win. Team Sunrise, the gold medal again in the Distance Drag A-League, as Marauders and Party Crashers are close for 3rd place, but it will go to the Marauders by 0.15 of a centimetre, and Daybreak cracks 140 in the final, the best run of the day, and they get a 3rd gold medal in a Distance Drag A-League. And all 3 Distance Drags Team Sunrise have competed in now, they've gotten the gold medal. That is an incredible achievement for that team, and they'll push up right behind the Grayscales. Less than 10 points, I do believe, will be the gap coming into event 11. That is an exciting prospect for the title, which has been so silent for the title battle has been so silent for several events now. It has come back alive today. Lagoon Platoon with another good performance in the Distance Drag. Pond is a pretty good one here, and Wormtail rounding out the podium. Finally back on the podium are the Marauders, trying to gun down their big rivals, the Grayscales.
domination by Daybreak in the distance drag puts Team Sunrise just 8 points behind the Grayscales. We have a title battle on our hands, folks, here as the White Knights go up into 3rd place. Marauders jump up 3 spots into 4th place. But this championship has gotten the most exciting as it has for a long time, as we're going to go to the B League once again for the whole shot cross in event number 5.